Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
You're in prison, and the only way you could be released is by someone catching a 40-pound carp, and they've only got 12 hours to do it. Who would you choose?
Damo. I would say a lot of springs are ruined by too many people baiting the lakes. You have to really believe and understand that fish care about oxygen first, heat second, then food third.
If you could ask a carp one question, what would it be?
Why are you so stupid?
Yeah.
It's a very good question. I would say I'd ask them.
Thinking Tackle Podcast.
Never even thought
Is
of
my
it.
Yeti Cup, is that in full view? I want to get a deal.
We try and
Yeah,
get
we
it.
actually want a Yeti deal.
Yeah.
If Yeti are listening, I think.
Well, of course, I think they do listen to. I think the CEO, it's his favourite
Is it?
podcast.
We had heard that.
He loves it. I'm in that position. If we got a Yeti deal, they'd be like, I'd have to be hunting through that catalogue right from front to back to find something I ain't got. I think.
The Yeti stuff is really good. Or not even a Yeti deal, but like a Yeti collab.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That would be good because one of our salesmen got us a Yeti cup with Korda.
It's really nice,
inscribed,
that.
Is it on the back?
Yeah.
And it looks really nice.
Yeah, it does
And I
look
love
nice.
that cup. Right, should we start?
Let's start. So, welcome everybody back to the Thinking Tackle Uncut podcast. As you can see, we're missing somebody again today.
Great.
Never mind.
Great. It's nice. We're missing Tom last time, which is a shame.
I saw you have a go at me at the beginning of
Yeah.
Carl's one. Cheers.
I thought you were going to do exactly the same when
Yeah.
I'm not here, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a great podcast, so that was. I love the Carl one. If
It
you haven't
was
listened
great.
to it already, you should listen.
But yeah, we've got no Spooner. He's on holiday, I believe. Is he on holiday?
Mate, he's never here. He
Well,
only comes in for a podcast.
Yeah, I have heard that, yeah. And he's not even coming in for those now.
He's in Wales.
Okay.
He's actually fishing today in Wales. He's gone up like North Wales fishing for the day.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, with his brother-in-law.
John was actually saying, John behind the old decks up there was saying that if we had to replace Spooner permanently, who would it be? And he had a great shout, which was someone we ain't seen much of in a long time, that Willstone Raider.
Oh, you want some? Huh? You want some?
You got no fans
You
here.
got no fans, yeah.
You've got no friends?
Looks a little bit like him. Who would you have? Who would replace Spooner if we had to replace him?
The crash test dummy out of the car test place.
You probably
Yeah.
would have to replace him. I don't know. Who would replace? You'd have to replace him, wouldn't you? So did you do everything else?
No, he did. I'm on about if we had to get somebody permanent in his chair. I think maybe Will from In Between Us, maybe, or something like that. You'd have to have someone like him, wouldn't you?
Well, a briefcase wanker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, you weren't here. Oh no, sorry, that wasn't the reason you weren't here, was it? The South Africa trip, but you have just been to South Africa with
Yep.
Spooner.
Yep. We just got back last week.
Looked unbelievable from the stories, and I know that you've
Yep.
created a vlog, or Kai's done a vlog that's going to come out, so everyone's going to get to watch that. What was you getting up to out there, and what was it all about?
So we've done like a bit of a Kaizen Green roadshow to show the guys in South Africa and in Croatia the Kaizen Greens, because obviously they've been launched around the world, but nobody's actually really like properly shown the public them at all. So we've done like a bit of it was almost like a carp show, but at the fishing lake at Donaldson Dam. Have you fished Donaldson?
No, we went to Spooner to South Africa, and we was on a business trip.
Right.
And then we got offered to go fishing, but they wanted to go like at 3 a.m. I was like, I ain't going doing
Don't
that.
fancy it.
But Spooner did.
Yeah.
So
Was that Donaldson though?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's probably the most well-known commercial in South Africa. It's not far from Joburg. You fly to Joburg, it's about a 40-minute journey from there. And we fished for 3 nights, 3 days, and we had like 1,200 people come through the gates
Wow.
to come and see us.
That's
Everyone
good,
had a
isn't it?
car. So yeah, it was really good actually, really worthwhile. Obviously at the beginning we were thinking that's an half a long way to go for 4 days. But it was really good. We met all of the people are super friendly, very, very buzzed about carp fishing. It's obviously like, it's not in its infancy there, but there isn't as many people doing it, and they're not as far along the sort of carp fishing sort of life cycle as we are. But they absolutely love it. The people are lovely, and we caught a Spooner fished on the left-hand side, and I fished on the right, and he caught 10, and I caught 1. And the one that I caught, I poached out of his water.
So he would have loved to have been in today.
Yeah, he would have
Yeah.
loved this, yeah. But I'll give him a mention about it anyway. And then after that we went to Croatia for 4 days to do the same thing. So it was like
Nice.
a bit of a round trip, and we fished with the Kaizen Greens ourselves. It was just brilliant, mate.
Yeah.
But I've actually bought in a load of stuff from South Africa, because I don't know if many people know, but the goo, which is the Kana carp goo that we all use, originates from South Africa.
Right.
And one way that their fishing differs to ours is that I think we're all probably most people are a bit rig obsessed in the UK, and they think that's the thing that makes a difference. In South Africa, they think that their idea of the goo is the thing that makes a difference. So they've got a whole wall of different flavours. So I was like a kid in a candy shop, like picking them all out. I just bought a load and brought them back for a few boys to smell. But some of them are absolutely disgusting.
So this is like, over there it's like massive. Is it match fishing's quite big?
Yeah, it's like, carp match fishing is quite big. They're multiple time world champions.
Yeah.
And Loki, who's the guy that owns this company here, which is the goo in South Africa, is the guy that worked with Ian to bring the goo to the UK. So it's the same stuff, but we just don't get all of the flavours in the UK because it's not really accepted by the shops that we would have like 150 different flavours on the wall.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand that it makes the difference that it actually does.
Yeah.
But look, mate,
what sort of price point are these like same prices as goo, is it?
They're like £2 a bottle.
Oh, right, okay. So, gosh, you would end up buying
in
so many of them,
South Africa, yeah. But it's a different world out there, isn't it? Everything's much cheaper.
All the same sort of things, though, isn't it? Like peanut, pineapple, maple, like.
Smell that.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
That's lovely. That smells
that
like
one?
Snickers bar. Peanut.
And I actually took this peanut one to Croatia and caught.
Did you? Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I like that.
It was quite nice because we took all of these flavours and then we was using it against our ones, our normal goos and that. Still, the pineapple, the original goo pineapple still does very well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the chop one that's got the more fluorescein in it.
So this one's like a concentrate pineapple. So what is that when they add to stuff?
Well, smell it. What do you think?
That smells wicked, that one.
What's that, the chop?
Yeah, it does. It just smells like the mainline pineapple flavour you put in boilies or something, doesn't it, when you're making your own boilies? Is that what it is?
It's the same one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You know what it's like? But when you get new flavours and everything, you're just like, that T-Rex garlic is horrendous.
Well, no, it's going to be bad. One thing I did say, like when I walked in your office this morning, didn't I? Like as soon as I walked in, it smelled like a really old school tackle shop.
That's that sort of mingly, sort of all those flavours mixed together, isn't it?
Yeah.
In them old tackle shops.
Yeah.
And it just stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's a lovely smell. That always takes me right back.
I really like that pineapple one as well. I'm going to ask Ian to see if we can get that one in the UK.
Yeah.
Because I think that will do really, really well in the summer.
Well, on the subject of goos, just a little heads up, because I think these are due in April. There's 3 more coming into the range here. What
ones have we got?
A shellfish.
I actually haven't used these.
No, I've not used these.
Oh, God.
Strawberry. Smell that, Damo. It's absolutely lovely, that. And this one here, I think Dan's going to like this one. The old sriracha.
Sriracha. I saw that it's got an R in it.
Yeah.
It's sriracha. Do you know
sriracha.
No?
No, it's sriracha. It's not sriracha.
It's Frank Sinatra.
Frank's for everyone.
It's nice, though. Lovely smell.
That smells like strawberry ice cream, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
That one?
That is. I'd say that's a flavour that's like not been vogue for a long time. Strawberry, is it? Like when I was growing up, strawberry. I used to mix. I think it's a Nutribates flavour. I was saying in the office the other day, guava fruit, and I used to mix strawberry and guava. And it was absolutely beautiful. Like I remember, that's all I used to put on.
The strawberry and condensed milk was there one?
Yeah,
strawberry. What was that? I don't know who made that one.
I'm not sure.
Maybe SBS or something, but we used to use Rainer's flavours, like peach Melba was the one. That was a really good one over low pits.
When would you say, like, sorry Dan, I know we always revert back to you when we go back to the Stone Ages, but it's an obvious choice. But when were like flavours getting added to like pop-ups and stuff like become a big thing? Like, is that something that was like long after boilies, like having loads of flavouring?
Long after boilies.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean though? Like actual people glugging up pop-ups in liquids, like heavy.
I don't really.
It's got to be a Frank Warwick thing, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Frank did the fluoros, didn't he?
The fluoros and the high, really high intensely flavoured in the N-butyric acid and that.
Yeah.
Oh, he was certainly the first one to really deeply play around with it and tell people about it.
Yeah.
I remember he had them orange pineapple and N-butyrics that we used to catch loads on. But everybody uses them now, don't they?
Yeah, I remember going through stages of thinking like it was too much, and you end up going back to stuff out the bag and stuff, thinking that's so over the top and so overpowering, like I'm not going to use that. And then you go full circle again and start adding loads in and glugging them over 5 weeks.
I mean, I wasn't really into that. The only ones I've really used where I've used a lot of flavour in them is pineapple. I used to use pineapple and betaine, and then I had to play with that pink squid go
Yeah.
quite a lot of that. But I generally match the hatch most of the time.
Well, you're the opposite of that, Tom, aren't you? You're
Yeah.
normally
No, I
always
think like you said though, I think it's cyclical, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think in the winter and the spring, it's probably really good to use them bright ones. Like still now, when the fish aren't eating much and they're only going to pick up one, it's probably going to be the one that's got more flavour in it.
Yeah.
But in the summer, I think probably we overuse bright ones a bit too much now.
Yeah,
We're probably missing out on things. I think if you had an underwater camera there all the time, you saw how many fish swam past a bright pop-up in the summer, I think you'd change it.
But to a matched hatch.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to know though, isn't it? But yeah, they're nice. I just thought I'd bring them in, but we can have a smell of them later and you can nick one or two if you want.
No, they do look great, I must admit. So what's going on with both of your fishing? Let's have a little look into that. What are you both planning on doing over the next couple of months? Because obviously I see the weather's actually getting a little bit better this week and next week, isn't it? Feels like it's on the turn a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of going Thursday, Friday because we've had 0 to 4 degrees, haven't we, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And it gets to 10 on Friday, 14 on Saturday. And the girls are actually up in Newcastle at the minute. So I might go, but Raysbury's done like 2 fish in the last 4 weeks. Cons of fishing badly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Big weather change though. Those winds as well can be the difference, can't they?
For sure, yeah. So I don't know, mate. I think I might go. I'm going to go Thursday, but I don't know where I'm going to go.
Okay, but you don't know?
I would really like to go, but I just can't at the moment because lost my father-in-law about a week ago. So it's not
shit to sort out.
It's just being around, isn't it? It's
not gone the back burner for a bit.
Yeah. So there's nothing really. I haven't been fishing for ages, to be honest. I'd like to go, but it's just not the right thing to do.
As and when.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? End of March, you might start going again.
Yeah, middle to the end. Yeah, when everything's calmed down a bit.
Yeah. I think March is a great time to start going.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good time to start putting lots of bait in. I think everyone gets a bit excited about spring, and you start thinking, right, I'm going to get my kit ready, start baiting up and everything. But actually, they're still not eating much.
No, so on that, so elaborate on that a little bit. So if you were going, I know you're saying you're going to try and get out this week. If you are going to get out this week, even with this weather change, the conditions improving dramatically, what would be your opening gambit on say an average syndicate or day ticket?
Right.
Just turned up. Like what you do, how you setting your stall out?
I would fish 3 different spots, so you've got more chance of locating them, and I'd fish a very small amount of bait on each spot. If you're allowed to use maggots, so you can put out a few spoms. But if you're putting out boilies and corn and that sort of thing, you don't want to put loads out because they're probably not going to eat much. So I'd fish a single maybe, and then a couple of spots maybe with 2 or 3 spoms over the top, so you got a bit of smell in the area. But generally, spread the bait out and don't put a lot of free bait in the lake.
What about like depths and stuff now? Now we're sort of edging towards spring. Does that change much? Are you looking for a certain depth of water or anything or not? Yeah,
this is such an in-between time. It's like you can. If it's warm, you can catch them in very shallow water, like a foot and a half up against islands and that. But I've also had it when it's like freezing cold out and you catch them in 20 foot. So it's like you do have to just hedge your bets a little bit, I'd say, at this time of year. In a month or two's time, when it's really there's warmth in the sun, then I'd fish in 4, 5, 6 foot of water. Amazing. But at the minute, you're slightly in between, so just cast around a bit.
Yeah, you a believer, Damian, that once they're moving out, like once they start moving out of winter, that's it, nothing, I'd send them back again. I know some people think...
I think so, mate. I think a couple of lakes I fish, one guy had a massive hit the other day in the wind and the rain, and they're just, I would think at the minute they're well catchable. I really do think that. But we just have to... Once this weekend, we get past this weekend, we've got like 13 degrees and warm southwesterlies coming in, haven't we? I think that'll be the end of it. I think, unless we have some, Arctic front moving, I think they're well catchable.
It does make a difference, that, doesn't it? When you think we've had like 0 to 0.5 and stuff, and all of a sudden on Friday, I think it's 9.
No, it's warmer than that. It's 14 degrees, I think, on Saturday.
No, at night I'm on about.
Oh, at night,
it's 9 at night, which is quite a dramatic difference, isn't it?
Well, Chod just said to me last night, he reckons it was the coldest night he's ever fished in his life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He said everything was just freezing up around him.
Yeah.
It's not fun like that. It's like you can still catch them. I like doing days. I do like doing days in the winter, but sitting there for 3 nights, in the last couple of months, it's been tough, hasn't it, to sit there like that.
Do you remember the days of sitting under a brolly in the winter?
Yeah, I've done that loads.
I remember when I used to fish a place called Tanyards when I was a kid, and I used to have to like wrap my hoodie around my feet before I went to bed, because obviously I had like terrible sleeping bags and terrible shelters and all that. And you'd wake up in the morning, I still do like 3 nights, but it will take like till about 2 in the afternoon for your feet to actually get back so you can actually feel it. And then you just do the whole process again. Never catch anything. It's unbelievable.
When we went to because we went from South Africa to Croatia, obviously it was 32 degrees or whatever it was in South Africa. It was lovely, just like being on holiday out in the sun.
Yeah.
And then went from there to Croatia, that was like -1 to 0 degrees at night, and then 4 or 5 in the day. But one thing they had was have always sorted this out, these little heaters. They take like a proper big gas bottle, like a horrible looking bright orange thing, have it outside of the bivvy, so if it leaks, obviously you don't get all of the gas inside the bivvy, but have the little tube running underneath. They have these little heaters, I think they're called Seven Oaks heaters. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen them.
They're like little green things about that sort of big. And I think they've got like a gauge on them to see how much, how good quality the air is.
Yeah.
So if it is leaking gas, it will turn itself off.
It's not actually carbon monoxide. You got to watch.
Carbon monoxide, sorry. Yeah. If it's like that, it will turn itself off. But I'm not saying that you should get one and just heat up your bivvy, but it makes it a little bit safer. You should have the door open, obviously. But we just had it on all day because it was a big bottle. And you just sit there. It's probably like 10, 15 degrees in your bivvy with your door open because it's just like constantly pumping in heat.
Yeah.
Well, nice it was.
Yeah, I bet
Makes
it was.
a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worth saying about those cob cookers. Anybody's listening, do not put one of them in your bivvy to keep you warm.
Absolutely
because this year and last year, a couple of people died, didn't they, from carbon monoxide poisoning? And it's an easy thing to do without even thinking about it. But they're just pumping out carbon monoxide.
What is a cob heater?
Like the cob, so not a cob heater, a cob cooker.
Yeah.
But you've got like a carbon block that's in the base of it that creates the heat.
Right.
So once you've cooked your dinner, you could see how it would be really easy to put that in your bivvy and think that'll warm it up. But actually, it's like a death sentence if you fall asleep with that.
Quite a few people have done it.
Yeah.
Thing is now, the clothing, the sleeping bags, all of the stuff is so good now. Like, that is where you want to be investing your money. If you're like a serious angler and you're going to go right through the winter, I know good sleeping bag stuff, they're not cheap, but they're a one-time purchase, aren't they, if you look after them. Like, rather than scrimping on that, like you say, they stick their cooker on full blast and do a couple of gas bottles and zip the door down. When I was a kid, I've done it, like put the gas heater on and have my feet over it but never gone to bed. But it's so easy, like you say, isn't it? Once it gets all warm in the winter, you just drift off and that is it, isn't it? It's so dangerous.
Regan did it. He poisoned himself, but he woke up coughing and threw himself out of the bivvy and started vomiting. Yeah. And he'd had the gas burner on.
Yeah.
He was really lucky, That was about as close as he's come to meeting his maker.
I done the same at Swan Valley years ago. Remember when I was going to do it was actually my first thinking tackle ever with Dan when I was about that big.
Yeah.
But the winter, it was leading up to the spring. It was the winter. It was snowing, and I remember I had a Pioneer, and it snowed so heavy that it was really heavy. It was like really pushed out, freezing. And I'd done the same, just left the gas on, and I woke up at like 2 a.m. The gas bottle had run out. And I was like, could barely pick my head up off the pillow, like really slow. Like, what on earth is going on? And it was obviously because of that.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
I just had this thought of
silly.
When I was a lot younger, I was fishing this lake in Essex, and there was this like slope swim that went down into the lake, and there was this one cast that you cast up against these reeds, and it was like January, February time. It was freezing. And I got down there, set up, and you had to wade out in the lake, only boot depth, and it was a fucking hole in my willy. Right, I got wet foot. And I was freezing, absolutely, and then it started snowing. And it was snowing, and it was absolutely freezing. I had to put my my unhooking mat up sort of at the end of my bed chair to stop the snow going on it.
I've done that.
And I had 3 or 4 takes that night on that rod. And by the morning, I didn't have any gas left. My hands were like red, frozen, solid. But the fishing was good, there was a couple of 30-pounders in the snow. But that was the most brutal night's fishing I've ever had. It was right on the coast, so it was freezing, man.
Yeah. I think everyone's got those stories, isn't they? It's great.
Luckily, we're at the back end of it now.
Yeah.
March is when it starts to get warmer, isn't it?
Well, it just feels good now, doesn't it? Like, even going, I think I'm going to go at the weekend. It's just, I haven't gone much at all, and it's done a couple of days, a bit of content creating with Ben the other week and another day since then. But it just doesn't feel like, until you get to sort of this period, the will or want to get out, it doesn't really seem that good, does it? I know people are still out having results, so you should still be going, but like you say, do what you do, make the most of it, go for the days and stuff, try and get some results.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Where are you going to go?
I think we're going to go up on Syndicate. I don't think anyone will be on there. It's quite early to be going on there, but just with that weather change, I've got an opportunity to go, so I think I'm just going to go.
Do you not think everybody else is thinking southwesterly winds 13 degrees might be worth going?
It's going to be that or the other. Yeah.
Maybe there's no one there. No,
Yeah.
there will be people there,
Definitely
won't there?
people there.
But it hasn't been, like you say, but you would think that this would probably entice a few people to go, but
Yeah.
this goes out after that, so it doesn't do that. So it's nice if they're going to go, I'm going to get up there and have a go then. But
That'll stir it up though, won't it?
yeah, I think it's just finding them on there. It's quite a big bit of water, but yeah, it should be good. Anyway, right, we thought we'd do it because obviously we're missing someone again. We thought we'd go for a few of the listeners' questions again.
Yep.
I've got to be honest, I prefer it with just 3 of us.
Yeah, well, we can make it a permanent thing.
Yeah,
John,
if you want.
all right, John, yeah? Going forward? Yeah, good.
Sweet.
Yeah, we can do that. So we thought we'd answer a few questions. We've got we've got a massive backlog of questions to go through, by the way. So anybody listening that thinks that you've ignored my question, we haven't. We're just grabbing a few now and again, and we'll just try and work through them all over time. We've got so many from Cole's one, and by the way, thanks to everyone that listened to that, because that's got really good feedback, isn't it?
Yeah, Cole's a lovely guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
And all due respect to him for what he's done and created.
Yeah.
You know.
I know you missed out on that, Tom, but you said you was quite glad you did in the end, wasn't it? Because you got to sort of listen to it.
I was gutted that I had proper really FOMO the day, but I wasn't very well when I couldn't come in. But I love YouTube and I love Carl, and I'd love to have asked him a load of questions about it, but because I got to watch it back without being in it, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in something, you're sort of looking at it a bit sort of pragmatically. And I said the wrong thing there and this and that, but I just listened to it as a listener and I loved it.
Yeah.
Really, I think he's great, and there was a nice little vibe in the room. And
yeah, he's good. Because he's a talker as well. You find yourself listening quite a lot, don't you? He's good at what he's saying.
Yeah.
You listen to what he's saying, and
he's an expert.
Yeah.
He's he's the best at that YouTube game in fishing.
Yeah.
He's a nerd, isn't he?
Yeah.
YouTube nerd.
Yeah.
I think that
We're lucky to have him as a friend of the business, because we gain from it in the way we do things on YouTube. And obviously he's got a huge amount of following, and he's growing. He's helping to grow fishing, isn't he? Like 100%.
Yeah, I'm going out fishing with him next month. Actually, we're going barbel fishing. Yeah, on the boat. Got a couple of days with him. Yeah, back end of the season.
On your boat?
Yeah.
Well, for his channel or?
For his channel, yeah. Yeah. We'll obviously do some bits for us as well, but we're going to go out and I think we're going to have a day or two on the boat. All this is all weather permitting because of the rain and that we keep having, and then we've got an evening on one of the weirs up there that's known for real big uns, seeing the season out up till midnight. Like
Nice.
March 15th, yeah.
That'd be really
That'd
good.
be cool.
Quite nice, yeah. I've not been. It's one of those things. I keep saying we're going to go. We said it all last year and the year before, but Cole's a busy man, and things don't tend to happen. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Right, let's start. This one I thought was quite funny. So I'm not going to gain much from this, I'm afraid. It's just more of a humorous question, and it was, if you could ask a carp one question, what would it be? I thought it makes you think, doesn't it? Like,
How much does it hurt?
And you just close your eyes thinking, please say it doesn't.
If I could ask a carp one question.
I think I'd say, do me a favour, tell me one thing you and all your mates cannot resist ever.
Yeah. One thing that we do wrong. Yeah, you'd have to ask what we do wrong, or what's really obvious to you, or why.
Yeah.
Why do you keep eating yellow pop-ups? Why are you so stupid?
Yeah.
That's a very, very good question. I don't know. What about, have you got an answer to that?
I don't know. Maggots are like crack, aren't they, to carp?
Yeah,
They're like
ask 'em
properly
why.
addicted to them.
And they're gross. Like, why do you like them?
Yeah.
Are you mad?
If one question, what would you
Yeah.
ask them? It's a very good question. I would say I'd ask them, does it hurt?
Would ya?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't. Yeah.
Well, because I don't think it does. I don't think it does like it does us.
No.
Because if I put a hook in your lip and I was pulling it, would you pull away, or would you go?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, so why would they? They would just come straight in, wouldn't they, and get it over and done with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't know, do we? We just hope not, I guess.
Well, I just don't.
Well,
They haven't got the same nervous system as us.
Do you think they've got the... Because they say goldfish have got a really short memory.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps they can't remember. So maybe we'll
That's
ask
the thing
him
you'd
twice
ask him.
and
You'd
see what he
say,
says.
why'd you keep out yellow pop-ups? They'd probably go, I never have.
What's a yellow pop-up?
Well, you have. I held you up last week, and you ate a yellow pop-up. I didn't.
Yeah. What's your memory like?
I've never been on the bank.
Maybe that's a good question. What is your memory like?
Yeah. That's a good question, isn't it? It's a really good question.
I'll have a think while we're going through this.
Okay, yeah. We'll come back to it. Should we come back to it?
Yeah.
Okay, this was another good one as well, I thought. And it was, if you could take one attribute from another angler who you know to improve your own fishing, who would it be?
Oh, God, that's easy.
Is it gone?
Yeah. I'd want...
No, don't. This is
What?
Oh,
Don't embarrass him.
don't embarrass me.
Don't worry, brother.
Okay. I like your style, guy.
It would be Tom Banks's enthusiasm,
Okay, go on, explain a bit more.
because he's the most enthusiastic angler I've ever seen, and he's just made of a different thing.
Give us some examples of stuff you've witnessed or stuff you've seen.
Observation. You stand at the front of the swim and be watching the lake for hours. I mean, they used to call him the heron because he just looked like a heron standing in the lake observing. And I can do that for half an hour, or sit up a tree for half an hour. But his observation and his just enthusiasm for fishing is just immense. I mean, he's in a different position to most people. But when he was full on, he's unstoppable, and his album is absolutely ridiculous. He's enthusiastic about everything: bait, rigs, location, the venues, the fish, the wildlife. He's one of them guys who can just do everything really well. I'll write a book and I'll do all the drawings, I'll do all the photography, I'll lay it all out. It's just really annoying.
I think
annoyingly good. Do you know what I mean?
I think the watching and the watercraft one is like if you could probably pick out quite a few people that have got that in a real high level. It's like it literally is the ultimate, isn't it? Because I know people go fishing for different reasons, but I would say, like, I don't know what the percentage would be, but a high percentage of people go fishing, they have a look, don't they? Have a lead about, they get their rods out, they sit back, relax, and enjoy the session, don't they? If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and they go from there. Let's say it's quite a small percentage of people that are that phone down, front of the swim, taking it all in, searching the lake, walking the lake. It's not a high percentage of people, is it? That's why there's not a high percentage of, like,
Very good angler.
really high performers that are consistently catching big ones.
But you've got people like Tom who knows everything about the wildlife. He knows what tree it is. He knows what that insect is. He knows what that bird is. Do you know what I mean? And he just pieces it all together.
Proper outdoorsman.
He pays attention to the birds a lot, doesn't he?
Pays attention to everything.
Yeah.
And those people that do pay attention, they tend to catch the most, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That's the point I was making. What about you, Tom?
I was probably something similar to that. Actually, no, I'm going to pick someone else. We've got a guy called Damian in France, Damian, and they've obviously done a completely different style of fishing to us forever. They're in boats on them big lakes, and because they've done it for so long, it's much like us with the clip being clipped up at 120 and being able to do it all well and hit the clip well and have them a foot apart and the bait right over the top of it. When you go to France and you fish in a boat with somebody that's been in a boat forever, it's like somebody that's never fished before fishing against us on the clip at 120. So you feel like, well, you're just nowhere near as experienced in the boat. And when he goes out there and finds the spots and puts the rod out, it's like infinitely better than me and Spooner can do it. And we're quite experienced in boats now.
Yeah.
So because that sort of fishing really excites me, and I'll probably do more of it in the future, I would like to have his experience in the boat, because you would just catch 10 times more.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Yeah, he can just use the echo so unbelievably well, and he's so controlled in the boat, and everything's sorted in his boat. Like when you get in his boat and he puts his rod out, you think he's going to get one.
Yeah.
When I put one out, it's like,
Yeah.
like he's got really short rods, 8-foot rods. He's got a boat that's set out perfectly for him. His echo's got like he uses like a different. And when somebody's really fluent on something, you're like clipping the buttons and zooming in and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this is the spot. He goes, it's really hard here, and he'll backwind. It's like crack. Yeah. And you haven't been able to find a crack for ages.
Yeah.
So it's just like I think that because I think we've got to a stage now with UK fishing that we're all pretty decent at it. Whereas that sort of thing, you're still a novice. So I think I'd take that off of him.
It's a great shout. I think learning to read, if you're going to do a lot of that European fishing, learning how to read and use an echo is absolutely paramount, isn't it? Yeah. Because I'm guilty of that. I've got a really good echo, but really I sort of know where it's firmer. I know I use it for depths. but I'm not using it to no way near its potential. I know Pedder, one of our sponsored anglers, he's coming over next month. He's a bit of a whiz on them as well.
Yeah, he's mega.
Yeah, and he's actually going to take some time to sit with us, and I'm going to bring my unit in and all that and go through it with him, because I do think like it'd put more fish on the bank without a doubt on them European trips.
Oh, it definitely will.
I think even like when you see those guys put their rods out and come back on a like perfectly straight line and stuff, you end up coming back. It was all straight. You go, no, you've gone over all 3 of my rods.
Yeah,
you've come back along it. It's like even that is quite a hard thing to do. But it's it's a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Without
it really
doubt.
is a skill, me and Spooner are much better at it than we were. 'Cause we've probably, I don't know how many weeks we've done in boats now, probably 20 weeks, I suppose, over the last few years. But
Has he still got his L plate on his boat?
he's still got his L plate on his boat. Yeah, Spooner still goes around in circles.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very difficult thing to get to. It's like if you go there for a week or 2 weeks, by the end of it, you're starting to feel fluent in it.
Yeah.
But you're still nowhere near as good as the lads that are good in them.
And you forget it all again, don't you?
You feel it's like a little bit like skiing, I suppose. Like the first day you go back to skiing, you're falling everywhere, but then by the end of the trip, you're really good again.
Yeah.
But like the Brandon and Anthony and Adrian, the guys out in South Africa that we just saw, they're the same. They've just grown up in the boat, so they're really, really good on them. Yeah.
What about you?
Do you know what? I would probably say, like, to try to like change it up a little bit, I would definitely be on that watercraft side of things. But if I say probably staying on the same line of enthusiasm, it'd be somebody like what some like Tom Maker and Alan Blair have got in abundance, that always get the will to get out and go fishing. Like, I definitely lack that quite a lot. Like, I have the idea of going loads and don't go, which is like really frustrating, because if you go, you're gonna have a good time, you're probably gonna catch some fish. But them guys just relentlessly go, don't they? They don't ever not go.
It depends on how your life's set up as well, doesn't it?
No, I get that, but I mean, even when I can go, like you sometimes have the all in best intentions to go. I'm gonna go Friday. I can go, and I won't go, and then come Sunday or whatever, I think I should have gone. Would have caught as well. Look at the weather. But them guys they don't. If they say they're going to go or they plan to go, don't they? No matter what the weather. So I think that enthusiasm to just always get out and go fishing. I mean, Maker's just relentless, isn't it? Doesn't ever.
That's his job, though, mate, isn't it?
It's his job, but it still takes a lot to do that, doesn't it? To just keep hitting that reset button. Especially sometimes when he goes through those long periods of time catching the same sort of carp from the same venue. Like that, you've got to be wired slightly different.
Maybe he's got a memory like a goldfish and he don't remember it.
He didn't remember it.
If you could ask Maker one question, what would it be?
Yeah,
I've never been to
I've
Linear.
asked him loads of questions. I think, I go through bouts with that as well. But I think that if you're going all of the time, it makes it easier to go all the time.
You're set and ready, aren't you?
It's like if I've got like a two month period or whatever where we're not travelling for work or there's not mad stuff going on here or anything, and I think I can get a few trips together. That's when your enthusiasm's really high, and you don't even feel like it's trying to go. It's like you're trying to drop everything to get there. That's a different feeling because you haven't got anything else that takes priority. Yeah. And that's when you're at your best. But these lads that are going 3 days a week, every single week, that's why they're always at their best. They're just, it's compounding, isn't it? They're constantly on it. Doesn't feel like an effort. Their gear's already in their van. That must be a lovely spot to be in.
Yeah, I think so. That's good. Good little points there, and I think everybody can take a bit from that. Watch the water more, get out and go fishing, and you're going to catch more carp. Right, this one was quite good, I think, and obviously something that the likes of you two would take for granted would be pre-baiting a venue. So this guy's saying he wants to start pre-baiting. When would be a good time to start? Could he start now? Obviously.
Yeah, I would say no.
Okay.
I would say a lot of springs are ruined by too many people baiting the lakes. If you think of it as a net amount of bait that's going to get eaten throughout the spring, if there's 2 or 3 times that amount in the lake at all times, no one's going to catch anything.
What do you think happens to that bait?
I think a lot of it gets eaten by birds. Some of it gets eaten by carp. But it never gets munched through completely. If you're one person on the lake with 300 carp in, and you know nobody else is turning up, and you know exactly where the carp are, you can put some bait out. But in general, lakes are really busy. You don't really know what other bait's going in from other anglers, and everyone can quite easily overbait in early spring. I think it can kill it.
What about slightly different, Damo? What would be if somebody was going to start pre-baiting? When would you personally start doing it, and how would you go about doing that? Like, what is the amount of bait you're looking to introduce if you're not fishing? I see people putting out way too much bait pre-baiting sometimes. Not only is it anti-social behaviour, if you're on a small lake and there's people baiting up when you're fishing, I just think that's a step too far. But when I have baited lakes, I go in light to start with, like a kilo, get something going. Make sure the bait's getting eaten, and then build it from there. Really, was that your question? How much to put in? Yeah. So how much? So
when
to start? When would you start personally? Like if you were about to start a pre-baiting campaign, when would you start it? And how would you introduce it? Like amounts?
Yeah, I agree with Tom. you don't want it going in too early. But once you've got bait established, you can carry on baiting through the winter. And if you're doing it regular enough, they will just keep eating it.
And what are we talking here? What would you be putting in?
Start with
the actual bait, like boilies, particle.
I mean, I was baiting through December one year, and I was just using like half a kilo of boilies and sweet corn. But I was crushing the boilies up just with one of the crushers and a cutter, so cutting them in half. And not overly loads, but just putting it in 2 or 3 times a week. Probably like a kilo, half a kilo sometimes on one spot. And it's just regular bait. I don't want the bait to be rotting on the bottom. And once they start visiting it and they're finding it regularly, they're going to just keep eating it. But that, if you started in the spring, you want to make sure the fish are moving around. If they're moving around, they're using energy, they need to eat. So it's probably more likely your bait's going to get eaten. But with all these lakes these days, the bird life on them is just ridiculous, isn't it? So even in deep lakes, they're seeing your bait. I know they see it in if it's clear winter water, in 20 feet, they're still seeing your bait because your bait washes out. It gets lighter, doesn't it? And they just know, they just see it.
And I guess then it's a bit of a guessing game as to how much to actually put in, taking that into account as well sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'd bait up it last thing, into darkness.
Yeah.
I'd bait up in darkness. So they don't see you doing it, and 2, at least you've got some chance of them eating it through the night. And don't worry about it during the day. If they eat it, then put some more in.
Okay.
You just got to put your percentages in your favour. And if you can bait up at night by using a spod, I'd do that.
Have you got any examples of when you have done a pre-baiting campaign where you haven't fished for quite a long period of time, but you've been putting bait in, going down, putting bait in, and constantly going down, and eventually fishing it like a long period after and having big results?
I don't have that luxury. No. I'll bait up. If I'm start baiting, I'll bait up for 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks probably. Every a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday.
Without fishing.
Yeah. Or fishing another part of the lake, and I think, well, I might get something going over there. Do that, but I don't go mad with the bait. I just keep, I think a couple of kilos, depending on the stock, is enough. You're getting them interested. They're coming back, and you end up like the same old thing we say before. If they're looking for you, they're looking for your bait. That doesn't have to make it easy.
You expect a quick result of something like that if it's worked well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think if it's if you're putting it in the right spot and you can angle well, and nobody's going to interfere with you, then it should be successful, I reckon.
Yeah. What about you, Tom?
Well, I'd sort of answered the question before, but I would say one thing that you should definitely think about when you're starting to bait up is to make sure that you get everything else right first. I think people think, I'm just going to pick a swim, put a load of bait out, and they'll find the bait, which might work a bit in the summer when they're moving around a lot, but it's going to work 10 times better if you find the exact right spot that you've already caught from at the right time, and you're putting the bait out at the right time before they start eating it. And that sort of thing.
What can somebody look for to do if somebody's doing that for the first time? What is it you would tell them to actually look for if they're going to do that?
Well, so if I was able to fish 3 days a week at the minute, and we're in middle to end of Feb now, I certainly wouldn't pick a swim that's whatever and put 5 kilos out every 3 days or whatever and hope that it happens, because you'll kill the spot before it even starts to happen. I would go over there and fish with a small amount of bait first. Find a couple of spots that I'm getting bites from, so I know that definitely fish are in the area and they feed on that spot, and then do exactly what Damo said, put a small amount out first and start getting results and build on it. Don't, much like a short session, you wouldn't go and put 10 kilos out and expect to catch loads. You'd put 10 spoms out first and build on it. It's the same like that, but extended over a longer period, I'd say. Okay. But you have to really believe and understand that fish care about oxygen first, heat second, then food third. That's how I think about it. And if you haven't got the first 2 things right, it doesn't matter what food you put out, they're not going to eat it, because they care about the warmth and the oxygen first. So you need to find a bit of water that's got oxygen in it, near some weed, warmth in the spring that's shallow, and that you're getting bites off, then you can put the food in. Okay,
good advice, that. Great points. Yeah. This question here is a little bit similar to, I think I know you're going to choose here, Damo. It's quite a funny question, though. If you were in prison and the only way you could be released is by someone catching a 40-pound carp and they've only got 12 hours to do it, who would you choose?
Damo. Damo or Daryl.
Send Daryl to Grenville.
Would you? Yeah,
you got to pick someone that's got good tickets and is the daddy.
Yeah.
It's them two.
Just them two people. That's it. Straight. You're going to pick Daryl, and you're going to pick Daryl. Yeah, I suppose he's going to catch.
Well, he's the goat, isn't he?
He has got the tickets. Yeah, he's got the tickets.
How many 40-pounders has he caught from Grenfell?
God knows. How many did he catch in that? It's just their Mainline have just released a film, haven't they? How many did he catch in that? Was it like
7, wasn't it?
7 40s or something? Yeah,
Insane.
7 or 8 40s. Looking at John for help here. No, don't know. I think it was 7 or 8 40s, wasn't it? What a lake.
The only thing is that could be moody, that lake, couldn't it? You might be stuck in prison.
That's true.
Oh, mate,
Definitely not
got the
spoon.
tickets.
Definitely not spoon.
No.
Oscar Thornton on those lake sea fishes. There's stuff for them. Well, that's where
That's where you
Yeah,
caught all your 40s, isn't it?
No, not all my 40s.
Have you caught 40s from anywhere else than
Yes,
that lake with loads of
Tom,
easy 40s?
yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Loads of 40s from other places.
Loads.
Loads, yeah. How many 40s have you had?
I'm not saying.
You're not saying.
It's embarrassing.
We won't take the piss at you. Not everyone's caught
you
loads.
just keep throwing it back at me.
No, we will. How many have you caught, Tom?
I don't know.
That's such
What,
a
you-
lie. You
no,
know everything.
No, I don't. UK 40s.
Yeah,
Not loads. 25?
that's quite a
like
lot.
Yeah, but he's caught a lot.
Yeah.
Probably 70, have you? More
He's
than
got
70.
the time though, isn't he? He goes so much.
Yeah, I don't know how many I've caught. How many have you caught?
I don't know.
Yeah, well,
No, I don't.
Why are you lying?
I don't know.
Why you always lying?
I don't know.
This is uncomfortable. Let's change the subject.
Less than 70. That's for sure. All right. This is one for you, Damo. This one, you'll love this. Bit of nostalgia. What was the first ever set of carp rods and reels you've had, and have you still got them?
I haven't got them. No, they were a pair of. My first rod I used for carp fishing was a 9-foot ledger rod, but the first set of carp rods I got was a set of Daiwa burgundy. I don't know what they were called, but they had like abbreviated cork handles. And I remember breaking one, and they had like a spliced in butt section. I think they had like a parallel bit where the handle was, and it went in just above the cork. And we broke one. In fact, my mate broke one as well. So that was the first set. And then after that, I got a set of Sportex, 12-foot,
Gosh, yeah,
12-foot 2-pounders or something they were. So yeah, that was my first set.
Yeah, nice. What about you, Tom?
I had a set of like Brentwood Angling owned rods, I think. Like first of all, they were like 50 quid.
Yeah.
And I had some like little Shimano bait runners on them. And then after that, I got some rods made with Noddy written on them.
What was the story behind that?
Well, I don't know. It was just a stupid name. They
Yeah.
called each other Noddy, didn't they?
It's just carried on since.
And they were Harrison Chimeras.
Yeah.
They were £3 test curve, I think.
Cool, they would have been trumpy, wouldn't they?
They were. I got them for my birthday or Christmas or something.
Right.
When I was like 16, I think, or 17. I actually sold them not so long ago. I don't know why I've done that. But
Oh, you should have
and
done
some the little tournaments, T5s.
Oh, yeah. Still going now, aren't they?
Yeah, good reels.
Yeah.
But I'm not really into like keeping stuff or the old kit. I just like
same.
the new stuff all the time, and then I just get rid of the old stuff.
I do that, but I do regret that a lot. Like, I love the fact that Damo keeps a lot of his old stuff and he's still got it. That must be lovely to look back on. But I'm the same. I do just tend to...
Yeah, if you're nostalgic about stuff, he's like he
I
loves all of the old kit. I just don't.
I don't keep everything. I end up with like way too much, but I collect things that have some meaning to me. Like I collect roller bite alarms, or heron heads or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And they're just nice things to have in my little fishing room. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
or Mitchell reels. I never used a Mitchell reel when I was carp fishing. It was always Cardinals, because we was they was like the ultra Cardinal 55s and 57s and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the old Mitchell used to spin the wrong way when it back round. We used to use a finger to stop it moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't got much of my old fishing kit. I've got a few bits and pieces, but we used to sell it to buy the new bit.
That's the thing, isn't it? Buying and selling. That is the thing everyone tends to do, isn't it?
And we get so much kit now because obviously we're working in a fishing tackle company, so you just get it's all new. Like, a lot of the time we're using kit that's not out yet, and then so you've always got samples, and then that gets sort of used, and then
something else comes out,
or then you have to use the one that actually comes out to show people how it actually looks, and not like the slightly weird one before, and you just end up there's a big rotation of tackle all the time, so you don't get time to fall in love with it.
No, okay.
Most of my tackle's not even for sale yet.
You can't even get it.
I can't even get it, can you?
No, might come out, might not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of that happens, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
that's what we get paid to do, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, before we wrap this up, lads, the weather's changing.
Mm.
We want to encourage people to get out, don't we? They should be getting out now. Now is the time to start getting out and going fishing.
Absolutely, yeah. Get out the weekend.
This will be out in March, won't it? Will it be out in March?
No.
Next week. End of Feb.
Yeah, end of Feb.
Yep. This is the time. The fish are at the biggest weights. They're starting to wake up. But think about light levels and heat.
Yeah.
That is the thing you need to think about. Then warm days are the days you want to go and to look, or when you get a big change in weather, which is what we've got this weekend.
Yeah.
They're the times to get out. And I think going out this time of year as well means that you have got an upper hand on everybody else when the weather gets really good in April.
Yeah.
So like you're a little step ahead, but my kit's ready to go.
Your kit's ready to go. You'll be going out when you can.
Yeah, it's ready to go.
I'm going to try and get out the weekend and catch a 55-pound plus mirror.
Might be bigger than that, mightn't it?
It might be bigger than that. That'd be a nice story if I catch that.
Probably won't go though.
After I just said that, I know. Well, this has probably put a little bit of pressure on that, isn't it? I have to make sure I go now so I can talk about it.
Right.
Hopefully we'll have Spooner in next time.
Yep.
If we don't, we'll definitely have a guest if anybody's missing. So we've got loads of guests lined up that we all talked about yesterday. Excited for that. Thanks to everybody that keeps listening and supporting us. It's great. Keep your questions coming in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, boys. Good luck.